Great moments are born from great opportunity.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Mavericks go to win in a shocking upset.
I feel shocked.
You suck compared to me.
So you guys are two prep school white guys to podcast.
We are underdogs.
They stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
I haven't even told anybody this. This is kind of crazy.
Robinson for three.
Jalen, real quick, we had Mikhail on last year after the season, and we talked about the national championship game. He called Michigan overrated. I think he might have called them trash at one point.
There were a lot of fighting words that took place.
Yeah, a lot of fighting words. So my point is, you don't need to be bashful about the Villanova chair. It's like that's very little. That's minimal compared to the fire that Mikhail was spitting, throwing.
Let's see if you can see that. Can you see that all the way over there?
All right, man. There we go. That's good stuff.
That's
good. That's nightmare fuel right there, baby.
Net right there. The other net. Yeah, all that stuff.
Is that the same jersey I watched you score 30 in the national championship, or what is that?
No, that's I think that's my first year. My jersey, the one I wore against you guys, is in Dallas right now.
Love that.
Oh yeah, that one he keeps with him. Yeah, that makes sense.
Love that. All right, well let's just run it, man. JB, welcome to the Long Shot Podcast. I'll be fully transparent. This is my first interview in a while. I took a little break for the playoffs, so I decided to come back with some new flair with the straw hat. I'm gonna hit you with a hard-hitting question to start off. What do you think of my hat?
Hey man, I'm just disappointed I didn't get a little notice for that. I would have wore a hat. Sure, I like the hat.
I appreciate it. Now you're bringing them in. I like the. Are those prescription or what are we working with?
These are blue lights. I had a prescription, but then I got LASIK, which is one of the best decisions I ever had.
Love that. Wait, you got LASIK? When was that?
Right after my rookie year, I got it. I wore contacts since I was maybe like in 6th or 7th grade, and then I was ready to move on.
Did that make a difference for your basketball?
Yeah, it made a difference with life. Like, I was just waking up, not getting right when I woke up, I could see. Like, I was just good to go. Like, it had no grace period where I had to put my contacts in or my glasses on. Like, I could see. And obviously, like, once I wore contacts, like, on the court for the first time, it like, made a huge difference. So once I got LASIK, it was just, like, the same.
No, that makes sense to me. All right, man. Well, how are you doing? I know you've probably had a little bit of downtime since the end of the season, the big run you guys went on. Where are you at right now? What's going on with your life? And just catch us up a little bit if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm back home in New Jersey with my parents right now. I've really been just chilling. I actually been in the gym the past week and a half. I couldn't stay off the court for too long, but I like easing my way back into things. So I'm just trying to gradually pick it up again, but can't complain.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like each player has their own kind of process that they go through postseason, whether it's get away, clear the mind, whether it's take some time away from the game or what have you. So it sounds like you were pretty quick to get back into it. Was that built out of just like the itch that you have to always be, working and playing basketball, or is it built out of motivation or what is it at this point?
A little bit of everything. I think the biggest component of all that, though, is because I have a pretty busy schedule going forward. Like, I just didn't really know when I was going to be able to be consistently working out in the same place. So I kind of wanted to just start working out. So when I had to take days off or I had to do something, that wasn't like I've been working out to this point, so I have a little room for things like that. So it's just scheduling wise and trying to make sure that I'm all good and not having to rush to get back into shape.
How different is a free agency summer? Because this is, Duncan just went through it last summer, and I was there for some of it. We were out in LA. On the podcast, we tried to keep it discreet. He was like, we're somewhere on the West Coast, and then I let it be known right afterwards that we were in Los Angeles. But does the approach change? Obviously, like you said, you don't really know where you're going to be spending your time. It's a busy schedule. But really for both of you, because Dunk, you went through it, do you feel, Dunk, did you feel like that summer was different? And Jalen, do you feel like when you look at your summer upcoming, anything's different than it has been in the last few years?
I mean, it's definitely different. There's a lot on the line. I mean, I don't really. My approach hasn't been different at all. Like I've kind of not really thought about it. I've not tried to think about it too much. I'm just trying to keep everything as normal as possible because obviously, things can be different going forward. But I mean, I've been enjoying my time. No, I'm just really just trying to keep everything the same. I know it's not going to be, but I'm trying to be.
How do you compartmentalize when you're going on a run in the playoffs like you guys are, and you're obviously a huge part of that? All the noise of, man, Jalen Brunson's going to get a bag. Man, Jalen Brunson's killing, man. Wait till Jalen Brunson gets paid. Like, how do you compartmentalize all of that noise? Because you definitely hear it. Like, you got to hear it to some extent. I'm not saying you're, like, letting it all in, like, you know, you're reading all the tweets and all that sort of stuff. But, like, how do you at least keep it over there so you can keep the main thing in terms of, like, I got to help lead Dallas to the next round?
Yeah. I mean, you see it. Like, you can't not see it.
Right.
It's just impossible not to see anymore. But I think one thing that's great for me is that the people I keep close to me, they definitely keep me humble. My teammates, they kept me humble. It's not easy. Like I said, you see it, but I think for me, what I've done the best job of is just trying to really focus on the things that I'm not doing well. So if I focus on the things I need to get better at, like on the court or all that stuff, like I won't think about the possibility of what's happening in the future. I truly focus on basketball. Whenever people tried to talk about it, like with me, like directly, I just said I didn't want to talk about it or I didn't want to like acknowledge it. Like the people who were like around me, like my teammates and stuff like that, they obviously said stuff, but I mean, they kept it to like a minimum. They didn't really say anything to me because they knew that I was just trying to win. I wasn't really trying to focus on that right now. That was the least of my concerns.
Is there a certain part of you after you guys get eliminated by the Warriors? And I do want to talk more about the series that went your way. Obviously, that one didn't. But after that series ends, right, and you know you have this free agency coming up, obviously the emotions are, you know, whatever, pissed, disappointed, frustrated, feeling like you guys, you know, were right on the doorstep of playing in the finals. But is there some sort of kind of like relief in a way? Because I know having gone through that, and it was a little bit of a different situation, but I just remember that year leading up to free agency. Obviously, like we had gotten swept by Milwaukee and just had a really disappointing first round, and I didn't play as well as I thought I could, and you know there's a lot of frustration there. But in the back of my mind, there was also this relief of, all right, well, like at this point, I've done all I can do. And, you know, to quote Coach Beeline, classic Coach Beeline saying, the hay is in the barn. You know, that's what he used to always say the night before games for us. So, like, in my mind, it was like, all right, it is what it is. Everything's outside of my control at this point. The hay is in the barn. Did you have any sort of feeling like that?
A little bit. Obviously, I was frustrated with
right.
the outcome. But I just knew that I put myself in a great position. I did everything I could, but knowing that I can still get a lot better was actually the part where kind of like it was like a relief feeling. Like I did everything I could, but I just know I can do more. I know I can be better. And so while I was, you know, kind of like I won't say at peace with everything, I was definitely upset, but I just knew that there was I was good, but at the same time, I was still hungry. And I think that fire, that chip on my shoulder will always be there, no matter like what the outcome is. Even if we did go all the way and we did win it, like what's next? I'm always thinking about what's next. It's something that I've always had, and I don't know if it will ever go away.
It makes sense that you're an elite guard in the NBA and I'm not, because I think if I had the postseason that you had, after that initial disappointment wear it off, I would be thinking, bag secured, job done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it was just the way I was raised. I gotta thank my parents for that. Like, I always am looking forward to seeing what's next for me, and I don't know why. That's just how it's always been.
Yeah, no, for sure. I absolutely get that. And before people I feel like the question that I asked, I feel like people could take it out of context and what I said. Like, I was asking the question in terms of like after that initial disappointment settles, right? And then you move forward towards free agency. I don't question for a second that you weren't, knowing the person that you are and the competitive spirit that you have. I know obviously like you're a team first type of guy and always have been. And I think that shows too in the track record that you have when it comes to winning. And that's the other thing too with it. Like, you don't have necessarily I saw it at times you were getting in your bag, but like the flashiest game per se, but you prioritize winning, you play the right way. And that alone at the end of the day will result in a long career, a lot of money, and all that other extracurricular stuff, whatever, takes care of itself when you keep the winning stuff first.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think after that like initial disappointment, honestly, with you, like you would think I would think like, all right, like I put myself in a good position, like I'm gonna be good. Like I truly don't think it's like I've gotten to that point where I know I'm gonna be good. Like I need a sign, and I need to make sure like I'm good there. Then I'll be good. Like it hasn't. Like, I know I'm in a good spot, but I mean it just hasn't. Honestly, hasn't hit me yet.
No, that makes sense. It's funny too because you were a second round pick. A lot of people, I think, throughout the course of your contract have talked about, how you've overplayed your contract and you're so underpaid and this and that. And you put yourself in this incredible situation to secure your spot in this league, secure, whatever financial opportunities. But when you were coming in as a 33rd pick, I mean, you were still a National Player of the Year, 2-time national champion, and you still don't get the respect you deserve in terms of falling to the second round. Like, is that just par for course for you at this point, like being overlooked, all that sort of stuff?
It's happened at every level, every single level. High school, happened a little bit. Obviously, I was able to finally at senior year, win a state championship, but everyone was saying that like Jalen's not athletic enough, too small, whatever. Like, and then it gradually just kept proving them wrong. And then there's always that, yeah, he's good, but it's always that but. And then college, same thing. Like, did everything I could, literally everything I could.
Literally. Every team and individual thing that you could, you accomplished.
Literally everything I could, and it still wasn't like it was just this, but now I'm just. There's nothing new to me. It's always happened, and I kind of like it that way. It just makes me grind it out even more.
What are you thinking in your mind though after you win your second national championship? And we can talk or not talk about that. we don't really need to get into that. You win National Player of the Year. Your line is crazy. Your efficiency, everything off the charts. And you're talking to your agent, and he's like, yeah, man, we're still, I'm trying to get you into the end of that first round. Like, what are you thinking in your mind? Like, what the fuck do I have to do? And then turn around, you see other dudes, we don't need to name names, that are getting drafted lottery in the teens, late first round, that have like averaged 8 points, 1 year of college, and all of a sudden they're like shooting up draft boards because they jump high at the combine.
Yeah. I don't, like, honestly, when I was first of all at the draft, I had a draft party at back home in Jersey. Had everyone that I knew there, and it was great. Everyone's having a great time, and all that stuff. I'm literally sitting in front of the TV, just like with a blank stare, just watching the draft go on. Everyone's just like, talking, whatever. Everyone's just having a great time. I'm just blank staring at the whole way, like just because that was tough. It was really tough seeing like things like that. Obviously, I love my teammates. I love them to death, but like knowing that I was National Player of the Year, right, leading scorer, all that stuff, did everything for the team. I was like the 4th teammate drafted.
That's crazy.
Like I love them to death. Like they deserve everything. True. Like any of my teammates, I'll tell them that. But like just seeing that though, like it's like, damn, like do I really belong in this league? Like, it makes you question. Like there are always days when you are young in the league when you start to question things. Like damn, like do I belong here? Like is this for me? Like am I going to be here for a long time? Like those questions like come up all the time when you're a young guy, and like you may not even like think about it like right away, but there'll be days you're just sitting by yourself wherever you are. You're like, this is tough, man. This is tough. But then eventually, if you just keep working through it, like I did, like you did, like you're gonna be in a good position.
Yeah. Give me another moment you questioned it, because I feel like those are like some of my, when I look back, like you hit it on the head. Like I have very specific moments that I think of that are like dark times in my mind. When I take myself to that moment, like that was a dark moment, and like I came through it. I came out the other side. But give me another example of one of those times.
Yeah. I would have to say my rookie year. We weren't that good. Honestly, I think it was my first losing season ever. Like ever. Losing. I'm just whatever. But it was after like there was like a run where I started like 6 games in a row or 7 games in a row, whatever, playing pretty well. Like individually, I think we might have lost a little bit, but I was playing pretty well individually. And then, like there was nobody out injured. There was nothing like that. All of a sudden, just next game 0 minutes. I'm just like, what? I'm just so confused. Like the mind games in this league are nuts. But like, I mean, that's what makes you good or not good, man. If people give you play mind games with you, like it's how you come out on the other side, and you just gotta fight through it. And then, I mean, like you said, you'll get to the other side at some point. But I mean, if you don't put up that fight, I mean, that's half the battle.
No, that's real. That's one thing that's a damn fact. It doesn't matter where you're drafted. The NBA will test your mental. Like, that's just a fact. And it'll happen more than once. Real quick, take it back to draft night real quick. First off, I just want to say I didn't have a draft party, but I had like some people over. I think Davis was actually one of them. I didn't think I was really going to get drafted, but I thought there was a chance. And I remember that year OKC had like 4 second-round picks, and I like had a really good workout for them. And they had like 4 picks in like 45 to 60. So I was holding out. I was like, they're going to take me at one of these picks. And I knew it was looking pretty dark when my mom went to bed at like pick 38. She's like, yeah, I'm just going to go to bed. I was like, I can't even get my own mother to believe in me, let alone anyone else, let alone an NBA team. So that's when I knew it was over. But for you, when you get taken 33rd, obviously that's supposed to be like a seminal moment in anyone's life and an incredible moment at that. But you mentioned like you're taken after your teammates. You're the National Player of the Year. You're taken in the second round. Is that a moment of like relief? Is it a moment of like joy? Are you pissed? Or is the chip just added on to? Like where are you at when you hear your name called or you get that call for that you're going to Dallas?
All those emotions, man. Every single emotion you just said is what is what I felt. And I was happy, relieved, pissed, but like excited, like all that stuff. Like I'm just like, it was nuts. It was really nuts. And then everyone's like just going crazy, like yelling, screaming, all that stuff. I remember everyone's trying to congratulate me. And like my dad, like everyone was around, like my mom, my sister, everyone was around me that I loved, like right there. I'm like, where's my dad? My dad was looking at another TV. I literally walked to him. He walked outside and like, he like That's when I really started crying. Like I was just like damn, like I'm here, like done it. And then that was a real special moment for sure.
So then, Jalen, you talk about your rookie year then goes on. It's the first time you experience losing on that level. I mean, you won at every level previously. Like you said, your senior year, you get the state championship, you win 2 national championships at college. Then you're losing your rookie year. Fast forward to today, you guys are obviously not losing. How close did you feel as a group to being that championship team? Because if anybody knows what it takes, it's certainly you. You've done it at all these levels.
We were close. Like our team was so dialed in. We I honestly can't. We looked at it like obviously the end goal is to win a championship. Right? That's how all of the seasons start. But I think with us, what we did that was so special is that we never talked about like championship part. Like yes, it's a goal. Yes, it may come up for like a second, but it wasn't like we got to do this. We got to do this. It's like, what can we do to win this game, the next game, the next game? Like we were taking it literally one step at a time, and that's what we did when at Nova. That's what we did in high school. We took it. We never said we got to do this to win the championship. It was like, what do we have to do this time, the next time, the next time? Just taking it one step, and then that's what it started to feel like. And then obviously we run into a dynasty, but it was close. It was really close.
How do you recapture that with the expectations? And we don't need to really talk about next year, but just in general, like how do you recapture that now that everyone's like, all right, well, they just came off the Western Conference Finals, they're bringing all these guys back. I know obviously there's still some things you need to figure out this summer, but assuming all is what it is, and you're back in Dallas, which I got to imagine will be the case. How do you not, because like you did it at Villanova, clearly, like how do you not win a national championship and then the following year talk about defending a national championship or repeating or whatever? Like, because I've seen across the league, like expectations are really, really hard to deal with, especially when you have all these other variables that come with the NBA when it comes to like egos and roles and money, who's getting paid, all this sort of stuff. You think you'll just recapture the chemistry, the flow that you had the previous year that's only 4 months ago, but very rarely does it turn out like that. And I think you see often, like when we came off our finals, all of a sudden the next year, like we were below 500 20 games into the season. I think you saw it this year with Atlanta. It took them a while to get going. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals, come back. It's just different. It's different. It's not the same. Mm-hmm. So in your experience, because you've done it, you've sustained greatness on teams throughout a course of time. How do you recapture that?
I think it starts with like the ego part. Like, if we really want to win, like we can't have egos. That goes for any team. That goes for anywhere you go. Like if your ego is even remotely messing up the team, like remotely close to messing up the team, and you're not gonna have a shot. Like,
yeah.
I learned that when I was younger. Learned that in Nova for sure. That you got to keep your ego at the door, and everything will fall into place. On paper, I guess guys are supposed to do certain things to get to a certain point, but like you never know what someone's like feeling inside, like how they feel, like or what they should be doing. Like, just the ego has to be stopped at the door if you want to win.
For sure. How do you describe, because obviously you've been a leader, obviously in college, and I see you bring like a certain sense of leadership. What is like your leadership style? Like, are you like super vocal? Are you just kind of like lead by example, or is it kind of a hybrid of the two?
Definitely a mix of the two. Like when it's needed, you got to be vocal, but like I try and lead by example. I guess I lead like when it's like needed. I'm not like a guy who's just going out there and just start yelling just because it's what leaders do. Like you got to find the right tone to talk to people. You got to know your audience. You got how you talk to them, what your message is. Because you don't want to, like, if you're getting yelled at by like a coach or whatever, like you don't want to go back and start yelling again, like from hearing it from your teammates. Like, how can I relay the message in a way where it's like you understand it? Like, you get coaches pissed now, and he wants us to pick it up. How can I relay the message to actually get you to do it? You know, that's just I try to be the middle ground between our coach and our team, and that's how I've always been, and it's worked so far. So I'm going to keep going that way.
This year for you, does that change at all when Luka is out? Because, you know, for those that don't know, most people who listen to this podcast probably do, but he's out the first 3 games of the playoffs this year for you guys. And it seemed like you absolutely soaked in the moment. You stepped into it. You had, 24, 40, 30 in those 3 games carrying the team. And you'd been great all year, obviously, but it felt like that was like you sort of stepping up into that moment. Do you feel like you need to take on a different role? Or is it just, look, I'm going to do what I've always done. It's just now maybe I'm in the starting lineup, or now maybe it's I have the ball in my hands a little bit more. Does it not feel like that much of a shift?
Yeah, not much. I tried to, just be myself. Everyone, like one thing that Jay Kidd was great at, he's like, yo, you don't got to be Luka. Just be yourself. Like, if Luka's out, like, just be yourself. I just was myself. I didn't try to do things that like he does. Like, he's spectacular. Like, he does some things that like not a lot of people on this earth can do or have done. There's a very select few. But like for me, like I know my leadership style. I know how I play. How can I implement that into winning this game? And then it kind of just fell into place. I didn't really try to do too much. Obviously, opportunity was there, and it was working. So my teammates could give me confidence. Coaching staff was telling me to keep going, like go. And while I was, putting up some numbers, I was still trying to make the right plays. And it helped us get a 2-1 lead, and then went on from there.
You were hooping.
Yeah, sure. How confident were you guys going into that Game 7 against Phoenix? Like, was that something did you feel that coming? Like, obviously, I don't think anyone saw it being what it was, like a 40 ball or 50 ball, whatever it ended up being. But, like, did you guys think, like, yeah, like, we're here?
I knew we had a chance to win that game because, nobody picked us to win that series.
Right.
Nobody. So they had a chance to close it out, didn't. And then we have a chance to go back home, go back to their place and win a Game 7. And I don't even know what happened, man. All of a sudden, we're just up like 20 and 30 and 40. And then, like, I think we might have been almost 50 at one point, maybe. It was close, but honestly, I didn't think we would win by that much. I knew we could win the game, for sure. But to win by the way we did, no.
We were talking about the day of that game. We were talking about because there was another Game 7 that day, I think, right?
I think it was Boston, right?
Yeah. We were talking in the locker room of like who was going to win the games, and everyone was like, Phoenix probably got this one. And PJ Tucker was adamant. He was like, I talked to Jared Dudley. I gave him the game plan. I got Dallas. He was like adamant. He's like, Dallas winning this one. I talked to Duds. It was funny. So I don't know if PJ actually had any input into the game plan, but he came in the next day and was beating his chest. I told you guys. It's pretty funny. So maybe, I don't know, PJ should be a coach or something because the fucking game plan seemed to work, clearly.
I feel like PJ will be a great coach. For some reason, I don't know why. When you've been in the league this long, you've seen a lot, and your knowledge is out of this world. So, I can see that happen for sure.
Seen a lot. My goodness. Yeah, that's for sure. And PJ obviously just has this like crazy energy and will to him, which is just super, super unique. I want to talk a little bit about your teammates. Multiple guys like really, really stepped up throughout the course of that run. Spencer was awesome. Maxey had stretches where he was lights out. Dorian Finney-Smith, I feel like, is just always kind of like that guy that just never gets enough love. And then obviously Luka was incredible. I always feel like when you go on runs like that, it takes a certain synergy like across the group to everybody just kind of be locked in. Did you feel that at that point in the season there was just a certain like role clarity and freedom that you guys were playing with as to where it was like no longer need to really be discussed, talked about, it just kind of was what it was?
Yeah. I think honestly, when we started the season like 16 to 18, right? And we kind of had like a little COVID, little hiccup where guys were in and out of the protocols in a couple weeks. And then once everyone kind of got back, after January 1st, we just started clicking. It's like we think about it, we also had a brand new coaching staff too. So this is the first year under this coaching staff. So this when we all kind of started clicking. We had to like relearn the offensive schemes, the defensive schemes, because we were teaching them to the 10-day guys. Like that's how most of us like kind of like relearned it, because we actually end up having to teach it. And so once all that happened, we got everyone back. We kind of started rolling, and I think we had like the first or second best record since January 1st, something like that. And then like once we get in the playoffs, I think after the first 3 games when we won those, we went 2-1 without Luka. I think guys were like, "Yo, let's do this." When he gets back, we're good. We got this. Right. We got this. And then obviously he comes back. We should have won Game 4. Like we should have won Game 4 in Utah, but we ended up losing by 1. But everyone's roles were kind of like everyone just ready to go. Like no one really cared about like, I haven't got my shot. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. Like guys were just like, what we got to do to win. That was our mindset. And then I mean, some nights it was other guys. Some nights it wasn't. Like, and guys are like, all right, did we win or did we lose? Like, what can we do to win? And then I think honestly everyone had that mindset, and then that's what made this run special, because like no one really cared. Like we all understood that like we can do something special, and we were very close to doing something special. I think honestly the best part about this season is that like no one really picked us to do anything, and then the fact that we were to prove people wrong was pretty special. And I think we kept just telling each other to prove people wrong. Just keep proving people wrong. Like we all believe in each other, right? We don't need anybody else to believe in us. And it's all us.
What's the biggest difference between going on a run in college throughout March and going on a playoff run? Obviously, outside of like it's one and done, versus a series. But like, are there similarities? I'm sure. Like, but what's like the biggest difference that you felt? Because you've obviously done both now.
Yeah. Obviously, the one and done thing's crazy in the tournament, but the mental and physical like concentration you need to have for a series is insane.
Yeah.
One thing about the tournament, though, you're done in 3 weeks.
Right. No matter what. Yeah.
It's 3 weeks. Like the finals, that's another 2 months added, right? That's what makes the NBA
series. There might be a series that's 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
You take a team to 7. It's crazy. The grind. I couldn't agree more, for sure.
I think that's kind of like why people will say like, all right, greatness is like obviously done in the playoffs. Like you got to be that guy for those 2 months. Like it was taxing. Like the first series, I was like, bro, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But then like you got to find a way. And then I would say just from that point, like the mental part was you got to be locked in. Like nothing else matters at that point. Nothing.
What did you really notice first about the difference that J Kidd brought to the staff and to the group?
One thing that like I saw from him was that like he kind of wanted us to do it on our own. Like he was like, all right, I'm gonna give you guys this, and this. Go do it. And then we would play like these little scrimmages in practice, and like usually like something happens, coach is called timeout. He's like, figure it out, get out the run. It happened during games too. He'd be like, you go on a 7-0 run. Obviously, like we'll slow it down, but we'll get something good. But just go. And obviously, if it was bad, he would call timeout. But he always just kind of gave us like a little freedom to kind of figure it out on our own. And I guess that kind of helped us with our chemistry because we had to talk it out, like we had to. Because he's not gonna say anything. He's just go. And then I think the biggest thing I took from him personally is all the conversations we had. Like he was always trying to make me better. I'll never forget this. We played Sacramento. We come back. We were down a certain amount of points. Come back. Doe hits the corner 3 to win the game. It was like in March. So I drive the lane. Doe hits it with like 3 or 2.5 seconds left, and everyone's like hyping, locker room, like, yeah, Doe, like good pass, Jay, what up? And Jake is like, yeah, like, good stuff, guys. But Jay, you should have waited a little bit longer. But we didn't want any time on the clock. And everyone's just like what? And I'm like, at first I'm like, oh, like really? He just like he just like killed the vibe. And I was like, not wrong, man. Like, you're not wrong. He was always trying to make me better any chance he get, and any chance he got. And I love that.
It's funny because that first point you made is like one of those cliches that everyone always talks about is like a player-led team is more difficult to beat than a coach-led team. But it's like, all right, well, how do you really create that as a coach? And it's stuff like that, right? You ultimately have to let players figure it out. Like just find solutions amidst themselves, because there's going to be way more moments where as a coach you can't have an impact than when you can. And I love the moment of after you guys win, still like, yeah, you gotta wait a little longer. That's real though, and that's like an opportunity for you obviously to learn from one of the greatest to ever play the position, which is like, I'm sure you're taking every advantage of that you can, like soaking up that every single day in practice. So yeah, that's dope. I like that.
Yeah, he was great, man. He was really great for us. He changed the vibe, and like he just basically just found a way for us to kind of make us talk. Everything was about talking. Like everything was about talking, no matter what. And like he would start drills with like different rules, and then we had he would tell one team, then wouldn't tell the other 2 teams. We had to figure out like what the rule was. Like, is it no dribbling? What the rule was. We need to talk it out and figure it out, and we had no choice but to talk.
It's another one of those mental things. It's a fascinating piece of the playoffs because you mentioned it, Jalen. Duncan's talked about it before, but the mental side of a series and how taxing it can be. Did you feel like that was an advantage that Golden State had over you guys just because they had been there before? So many of those guys had won championships. It's like they knew what it was mentally. Whereas for some of you guys, it was the first time that you had been that far in the playoffs.
For all of us, it was the first time, honestly. I'm pretty sure all of us has never went that far. But, yeah, they've been doing it for such a long time. It's hard not to think about that when you're playing them. And then we should have been 1-1. We were up 20 in game 2, lost game 2. And then to come home, lose game 3, and be down 3-0. I think with the press conference, after the game, I was just like, man, they've been doing this for a whole decade. Like, you got to give them credit. Like, it's what they do. And it's just tough when you're playing a group of guys like that that have lived it, done it, and are still hungry to do it again.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example is, again, in the finals, that they find a way to win that game 4 when, like, everyone's like, Boston had control of that game for so much of the game. And it's like, if Boston wins that game, got to imagine that series is over, and they just find a way to win it. And then they come back and don't even really play that well, but it's because they got home court and all this other stuff. Like, they find a way to win game 5, and then all of a sudden it's like the series momentum has entirely flipped. Where I'm sure a lot of people after game 3 would have had Boston. They had gotten home court. All right, we don't want to take too much of your time, but we do got to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the national championship. We talked about it with Mikhail. I just feel like I'd be dodging it if I didn't at least bring it up.
Right. I agree.
After you guys beat Kansas, because I'm pretty sure Mikhail said this, were you guys like, all right, we're cool now. We got Michigan. They're light. Be honest.
No. I was really honest.
So Mikhail's lying. All right, that's good. I'm happy.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really wanted to play Loyola Chicago. I really wanted to, because that was the first school I visited. I was like,
that's cool. All right, so we're fulfilling like career missions for Jalen Brunson now. Like, what is this, 2K? Like, come on, man.
He had already won one. This was just like, it was all extra now.
No, that would have been poetic, honestly, to put.
I was like,
that.
I was like, yo, hey, I would love to play, and let me put you guys. I was like, you gotta put these dudes, man. I'm just grow up. But the first, it wasn't a blowout the entire game. First like 10 minutes, y'all really had control of the game.
Yeah, it was mostly Mo. I had nothing to do with that. Mo was just in his bag early. I was like, get out of his way.
If you want to be real, I had nothing to do with the whole game either. I was in foul trouble.
I mean, a little bit, though. I just remember the first play, because we had gone into the game.
First back-to-backs. I scored both. I remember that.
Crazy.
I'm listening. Keep going.
Bro, the first – he's about to pull out some hardware. I don't like where this is going. Dude, the first – because we – pre-game, our prep, we had talked about what are we doing with Jalen Brunson in the post, and it was a big back and forth. It was a big discussion, and we had Xavier Simpson, who's this lockdown defender. We're like, you know what? We're gonna let X play ones with Jalen in the post. We're not doubling. All right, man.
Sit down.
Great idea. Hold on, Ma.
Oh my god. He said, "Where's the trophy case?"
It's on. Where is it?
I can't believe this is happening right now.
We should hang up, honestly.
No. We're not hanging up here. I gotta find. There's a little trophy case right here with the rings.
Oh my god.
Anyways,
I'll save you. I'll get it.
We decide we're not going to double Jalen Brunson in the post. It was a group decision that we all made. We're gonna bet on our point guard Xavier to give him problems in the post. First two possessions, it was like the Russ Rock the Baby, just light, just boom shoulder, hook, boom shoulder, and then the other one was like a fadeaway. We were just like, we might need to make an adjustment on this. But you did get in foul trouble, which is crazy, because then Dante just decided that third.
Dante was like, you know what, like, why not? Let's just yeah.
But he just decided to go for a 30 ball off the bench. It was, at that point, it's also like I was watching this game the other day. You guys had 5 legit NBA players, like really good NBA players. I got to imagine, like, I don't know where you probably think you're the best college team, whatever, in the last decade, but if you're not first, you're somewhere in the top 3 or 5 for sure.
We're definitely number 1.
Fair enough. I mean, that's
Ever?
definitely a biased opinion.
Ever? I would say yes, but
I mean, you guys did. What's the stat? No games in single digits in the tournament?
no, yeah.
Our last
Is that what it was?
Our last 10 or 11 games of the season, we won by double digits, including the postseason. Conference
the tournament.
Conference tournament too.
So you definitely thought that 2018 team was better than the first team that won it, that you were on?
Without question.
Not even close.
That debate goes on all the time within like guys from the program. Like,
right.
Like me and Josh Hart, me and Arch, we talk about like how 18 was the best team. The best team. Hey, Mom, you do me a favor. Can you please open it? I'm proving the point. I need.
Please don't. Please don't.
This is unbelievable.
That's my mother, guys.
You already won, dude. You don't need a gloat.
Hello, Jalen's mother.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Honestly, not great now that your son is rubbing this in our face.
We get it, dude. You have a lot of hardware, all right?
Yeah, we understood. State champion.
What do you need?
I need this one right here.
Okay.
We shouldn't allow this.
This has gone too far.
This is our show, Jalen.
It's okay.
It's a live show.
You're disrespecting.
Not a live show. But since it's not live, what do you think of my hat? Honest feedback.
In the chair.
Yeah.
But,
What school are they from, Jalen?
you go ahead.
I played at Michigan.
That's why.
Yeah.
So
It makes sense that you wouldn't remember me. I wasn't very impactful in the national championship game.
Oh no, that's okay.
Wow, it looks so great.
That's awesome.
This
man.
is
I'm really happy for you, man.
Yeah, all right, that's all the time we have. We're gonna have to go.
this is the Final Four ring. I think this is the national championship ring here. You know.
What do you mean you think? It doesn't say it in diamond encrusted letters on there?
No, it does. I had to prove the point. You know what I mean?
All right.
This took a bad turn. Wait, can I ask one more question, Duncan? Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, go
I know
ahead.
I have to run. Jalen, I do want to ask real quick because Duncan brought up your post game.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense to me how effective you are in that like 5 to 10 foot range from the basket. I played open gym the other day. We're similar height. I played open gym the other day where like the tallest guy on the court's 6'4", and anytime I'm inside the 3-point line, I don't know what to do. And so for someone at your size to be that effective in an NBA game, it legitimately makes no sense to me. Have you always had that? Like you're getting guys down in the post, your footwork is crazy down there. Like what are you doing? What's your secret?
I've always worked on my post game. I don't know why. I always have. I've always had great touch around the rim. Like I remember growing up, my dad's like, you have a gift of like being able to finish on the basket. I'm like all right, like, I'm not thinking anything of it. Like, okay, but then like I see numbers. I've been seeing numbers the past couple of years saying, like percentage wise, like Jalen like finishes around the rim like amongst like Giannis and like LeBron and like Zion. I'm like damn, and I'm barely dunking it. Maybe twice a year, maybe. But I don't know why. I've always worked on it. And then in college, it kind of became a thing to actually like use it as a play. My last year, Arch did it. Then I was able to do it, and then coach is just like, we're gonna run this into the ground because there's 5 shooters on the court, and there's no one you can help off of. And if you help, we're gonna kick it out. And then in the league, obviously, no one thinks I can still do it. And then I'm able to use my footwork, I'm able to use my creativity, and find a way to put the ball in the basket.
But you're getting better at it. Like your numbers this year, I saw like your amount of shots from that distance is way up. Your field goal percentage from that distance is way up. So it's like, is this something you're consciously emphasizing, or is it just, again, it's just like, well, I've always been like, this is where I can get to, I can get busy in this area.
I always had the confidence I could score down there, honestly. I've always had the confidence I could score anywhere. But J Kid just like, yo, like, if you get down there, even matchup you want, go. I mean, and then my teammates, I had the same confidence in me as well. So it kind of just made it easier once everyone was like, yo, like go. Like, obviously, like, getting into the league, people were like, oh, you're not going to be able to do that. So I'm thinking, all right, like, it's frowned upon. I shouldn't do it. But then people are like, just go do it. Go. Like, that's what you do. And then people help, try to make the right play. If not, I'm scoring.
I don't understand it. I respect it, but
Davis,
I just don't understand
that's not great advice for somebody that's built like you, just for the record.
Yeah, honestly, there's nothing I can take away from this conversation.
All
right, JV, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks for taking the time. Do me a favor, man. Have a fantastic off season. Hopefully our paths cross at some point. But yeah, man, good luck with free agency and everything. I'm pretty certain it's going to be a pretty good outcome for you.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right.